Ground beef, onions, and garlic powder, and a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. We're going to be doing some hot packing of ground beef today. So I picked up these large packages from the independent grocer in the city the other day. Not a bad price for 1.8 kilograms. It's not the beef from the Mennonites, but that'll be the next trip when we go. Prefer to get our meat from them as opposed to in the grocery store. We don't know what they inject their cows with. So yeah, ground beef today. And it's cooked just long enough so that it loses the pink color. Everything is going to cook in the jars. Just so it's not so sticky going into the jars. Hi everyone, we're doing some pressure canning today. Picked up some ground beef and there's a couple other surprises that I snuck into this video, so come and check it out. It's been a little while since I've done a pressure canning video, and I do have another one ready to roll out too for pea soup. So yes, this video may not be for everybody, but I hope you stick around to watch and see how easy it is to pressure can. And yes, it can be a little bit intimidating at first when you're first starting out, but honestly, once you get rolling and you get your jiggler going on, see what I mean, it gets highly addictive. Pressure canning is fun. It does take a lot of time, but it's so worth it. And especially with the cost of everything right now, why not have some meat put back that you've done yourself? And I picked up a new funnel too, one of these collapsible ones. I've done beef several different ways, including like shepherd's pie mix, meatloaf, so that everything is ready to go right from the jar, even if you had to eat it cold. Now we're going to pack it down. I got this handy little tool. Don't want to pack it too tight, and just to get it away from the rim for when we transfer to the next jar. So we still got a little bit more room in there that we could put more meat into. Put a little bit more in there. And a little bit of juices too. Maybe that's not too much. It looks pretty good to me. And then you just want to make sure you have no air bubbles in there. I just use like a wooden skewer, shish kebab skewer. Looks good. Make up another batch here. And don't cook it on super high, just on like 5. And I have my handy dandy food chopper from Pampered Chef to get those onions nice and chopped up super small. Probably gonna need some more. And going with some garlic powder. I keep it in a big mason jar because I go through a lot of garlic powder. And a couple drops. And a couple drops of the Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce. Okay, more than a couple drops. Now we're gonna get mixy. You can even do taco seasoning, ready to roll, taco meat in your jars, shepherd's pie mix, any of those little packets that you can pick up just for seasonings. Because I'm just doing straight up ground beef today, just to be more versatile with it. And if you don't do meatloaf by scratch, you can pick up these Clubhouse seasoning packs. So that's another option for when you do the meatloaf. I don't know if I used that package last time I did canned meatloaf. Put a little bit more garlic powder in there. Remember, certain spices will become much more strong. Spices become super strong when they're canned. So you'll notice I don't add any salt in here at all. This can come off the heat. So I'm going to continue on filling up this jar, and then we're on to some other jars. So our first batch gave us 3 full wide mouth jars. almost 4. Yes, and we still have another batch to go. And ideally you want to have your funnel in your jar that you're filling closer to your pot of stuff, just because you risk getting oils onto the rims of other jars, so it just makes more sense to do it this way. Pressure canning is time consuming, but the fact that knowing that you have food put away, it doesn't have to be refrigerated or put into a freezer, that is the bonus. And once you get started, anybody who does pressure canning will know it's highly addictive. You just want to pressure can everything. One of my future goals will be to invest in a freeze dryer. Just time saving, because you figure out how much time you spend pressure canning in the course of a year. Wow, it's a lot of hours. A lot of hours. But it's also a good idea to have a good mix of different food put back, freeze dried, pressure can, dehydrated. And add a little bit more juice in there. Yeah, you can use the funnel or just be super careful. And we had prime rib for supper last night, so there's a prime rib bone that we simmered. Got some good fats in there. And I just take a little bit of the broth and put it right in with the hamburger meat. Give it that added flavor, and just so it's not all sticking to the bottom. Also, make use of what you got. We had some beautiful stuffed mushrooms last night for dinner. And so those were cooked in butter. Absolutely delicious. So I just scraped off the leftover butter in with the rest of our ground beef juices, and we're gonna take and combine everything into this pot, and then we'll be able to fill a larger jar with some stock. So while this is heating up, just to disperse the fats in there evenly, I like to do dishes as I go. Ready to go into the jar. Scrape that out, put that into the jar too, and then just top it off with some water. It's beautiful. So we got our canner ready. We got our water in the bottom, 1.5 inches of water for now. We'll get our lids and our rings put on to our jars, and then I'm gonna want the canner filled. So I'm gonna be double stacking in the canner, and then we're gonna be doing some fish for the last few jars. So my good friend Sherry Leach sent me a whole bunch of canning supplies last year, and I'm still making use of them. Sherry, thank you so much, my friend. One day we're gonna meet. It's on the bucket list. So let's get our tops all cleaned up with some vinegar. Vinegar, a lot of different uses. So you just dampen your paper towel. Just want to make sure there's no fats that are going to inhibit your seal. Oh, I hear the puppies downstairs. They're growing fast. 4 weeks old soon. Looks good. Brand new box. And you want to inspect to make sure there's no imperfections on your lids. Sometimes they'll be dented in that on the corner, and you don't want that. Okay, lid time. So finger tight, folks. This is the part that freaked me out the first time when I was pressure canning. Finger tight. Get the rest of these done up. Okay, now, so you'll see they're going to stay popped up like this, and then we're going to put them into the canner. This is going to be the one that goes into the canner first, because we can't double stack this one. Okay. And that's what we're getting in there. And that's where we double stack. Okay. And so now we have 3 more jars that we have to get into here. And so the jars being in here have raised our water level to about 2 inches in the canner. And you also want to put a little bit of vinegar right into your canner as well, because it'll keep the outside of the jars from fogging up.
Little mom, are you done feeding? Done feeding the babies?
And while we're doing this, we're gonna grab some lunch, our fresh smoothies that we just made yesterday. Shake them up. Okay, so this is what we have left from that big trout that we just caught the other day. And so I'm not letting any of this go to waste, except for the fins, so those can come off. So we're gonna pressure can the trout too, what's left of it. And this will be excellent food for the pugs, because all of those bones, all in here, will all break down and will become soft. Actually, for the fish, I think I'm gonna go with a big jar so we can double stack this one here and do a big jar. And it's gonna be really fatty. Look at that fat. I'm gonna take some of that off. You can hear the bones crunching. I have Scarlett down here. She can smell the fish. So you're just following the bones. Big layer of fat there too. All the gizzards and everything in here too. Yucky, but full of lots of nutrients for the pups. For the pugs, I should say, not the puppies. The puppies will get it from mom's milk. Oh, look, we even got a minnow. And I just have to snap the backbone there, right there. It's pretty gross. Waste not, want not. Yes, I probably need to sharpen our knife too. Okay, that's good. I'll give the stomach contents to the chickens. They can pick at that. I'm not dealing with that. This is not for everybody, folks. I'm telling you. Gag reflex. Alright, okay, put some water in there. Get our bubbles out. Use our vinegar. Lid and ring. And ring. Finger tight. Into the canner. Now it's time to can. Oh, hold up. I still got one spot left that has to be filled. Now, I thought about this. We have pork chops, but we're going to be having those for supper tonight, so I'm not going to use those. Has anyone ever pressure canned eggs? And I show you my face right now. Oh, because I could do it as an experiment and see what would happen. The eggs would obviously blow up in there, but they'd be contained. I don't know. I think maybe I'll just do an empty jar on top. And if anyone has ever pressure canned eggs, please let me know. And if not, perhaps we will do this on a video. Folks, alrighty folks, I just watched Alaska Prepper's video, and yes, it can be done, and with the shell on, okay? I only got room for one small jar, so let's see what we can do here. Go with the smallest eggs. I'm gonna put some water in there first. I'm gonna have to pause this. Okay, we're only getting 3 eggs in there. See how this turns out. Okay, fun. I'm glad I looked up the video. Okay, empty jar. Line up your arrows. Spin it around this way. So I got an arrow right here, and then there's an arrow up here on the handle. And so you line up the arrows. Oh, and yes, you do oil your ring on the inside. I already did it the last time, so we're good for this round. So then you just switch it, boom, closed, okay? And I always make sure that we're centered on the bottom here. And there we go. And now we can turn up the heat. Yes, yes, some of you are saying that you need to clean your canner. I'll get on it after this canning session. Okay, now we're ready to rock. Turn her up. I'm turning her right up to an 8. Okay, we're beeping. I'll turn it right down. And you're going to want to take the canner right off the element. Be very careful. And let it depressurize on its own. So, yes, now you let it depressurize on its own. It's going to take a considerable amount of time. Get her all the way down to 0 without removing the weight. We've now depressurized, and we could take our jars out and see how we made out with everything. This is exciting. No steam coming out. Everything's good. Still gonna be super hot inside here. Just unlock your lid, okay? And you open it. Lots of hot steam. Yeah. Ta-da! Everything's still processing. I'm right on the stove. And then I have a rack here. It's like a cooling rack. Put them on there after I'm done. How do the eggs make out? When you have success, that's when you know it's all worth it. It takes a long time to do the pressure canning, but at the end of the day, finished product. Accomplishment. Yummy awesomeness. Oh, they're pinging. They're pinging. And some of them have already popped down too. Well, here's the eggs. So there's a crack in the bottom. They're definitely hard boiled now. Interesting. There's our stock. Looks awesome. See how the fish look. Well, there's the fish. Pop, pop, pop. Okay, so here it is. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 jars of ground beef, our eggs, our stock, and our fish. And everything's popping down. Just gotta wait for a few more, like this one. So, totally awesome. Doing the things. Keep doing the things, folks. Thank you for watching, and GH out. So, just leave these overnight. You don't want to risk breaking the seal. And then tomorrow I'll be able to take off the lids, okay? And then label them up and put them into my pantry. And so once they're suctioned down, that's it. You're ready to rock and roll.